Wait, don't fast forward just yet. I just have a couple of quick things to say about a giveaway that I want to do, and a quick thank you to all the people that are watching the videos and that have newly subscribed. And I just want to thank all the people that are giving great comments and a lot of good information. Actually, if you're watching these videos, the other good thing to do other than just watch the videos is check out the comments, because the people that are watching these videos are so knowledgeable and so free to give advice. So check it out. And speaking of comments, I'm approaching 400 subscribers. And what I'd like to do is, when this video is over, I'd like to start keeping track of the people that comment on my videos. And what I'm going to do is, between now and 500 subscribers, I'm going to tally all the comments that individual people have given. And when I hit 500 subscribers, I'm going to give something away. I have a couple ideas what I want to do. I was thinking of a chainsaw carving, a t-shirt, or a gift certificate to one of the Jeep suppliers. Speaking of Jeep suppliers, I want to thank Kaiser Willys for sponsoring this video. And I'd also like to say, if you get somebody to subscribe and they, in the comments section, they leave a comment and put your name in it representing you, that's double or triple or whatever amount that you get in there. That's the amount of credit you get towards the giveaway. So enough of me talking, let's get to work. So today we're going to concentrate on the rear brake drums. So typically that nut is really hard to come off, but I already put penetrating oil on it and loosened it up prior to this video. I actually did it way back when I first got it. I put penetrating oil on everything just so it would be easy to access, but I have not had these hubs off yet. But a little tip that I learned with other vehicles, if you're trying to get that nut off and it's tough to do that, you could use a pry bar, put it on the ground, and put it in between the lug bolts like this. And as that turns, as you're trying to loosen it, the pry bar stops the hub from turning. I'm always curious what everything looks like underneath here when you first take these off. Great, so I'm gonna start taking this stuff apart in here. All right, so I ended up removing the hub from the brake drum. And how I did that is I pushed the lug bolts back through the drum, which once you remove all the lug bolts, it ends up making this so it disconnects from the brake drum. All right, so now I'm going to go through the process of removing the old parts and getting that all cleaned up and ready to install the new brake parts. All right, so now I'm going to clean this up. So the only thing I wasn't able to loosen up is the brake adjustments. These nuts are seized right on there, so I'm going to heat it up, see if I can free those up. So one thing I like to do before I install the new parts is match them up somewhat with the old parts. So as I take stuff out, I check and make sure that the parts don't seem abnormally big or like really out of whack compared to the other parts. So everything so far looks good. The spring looks about the same length. The master cylinder looks about the same size. You know, I can go by what they give for a parts list, but you can't beat taking it and matching it up with the other parts. One thing that I did notice that's different between the brake pads or brake shoes that I got, the brake surface area is much shorter on these here compared to this here. So if you look at them together, one set, the brake surface area is much longer than the other. And I'm assuming that's because these are the rear brakes, because the ones that I took out actually have the longer surface area matching up with these here. So if anybody could tell me actually what the reason is for that, I'm assuming because the just the different makeup of the front brakes, you know, that they're under more pressure, so they have a bigger master cylinder with a smaller surface area. I'm not really sure about that. So one thing I see that's kind of interesting is I believe this has two areas to adjust the brakes. So you can see where the bottom part of the shoes here have these two pins that mount on the bottom of the brakes. And as you turn this, this hole is off center. So it's thinner on this side and then thicker on this side. So when you turn this, it actually adjusts the location of the brake. You can see how it goes in and out. So I'm gonna have to investigate how to adjust these brakes. And what I'll do is I'm gonna put it on the lower setting now, so they're the most contracted. So that would have it so the thin part is on the outside. So I'm gonna spin those both around, and that's how I'm gonna mount them right now. Because I know it has this here, and then it has these two areas here that I loosened up earlier. And I believe those are adjusters also. So I'm gonna put it together with the adjusters all the way contracted so the shoes aren't pushing against the drums at all. So one thing that I found out that was really important to do is when you put in this keyway here, this goes into the slot here, and it makes it so the hub won't be able to spin on this shaft. But there is a sequence to putting this in, and it's very important because if you do it wrong, then it can crack your hub. And it's probably the most important, or one of the most important parts of this reinstallation of the brakes. So I just want to show you, I'm going to make a quick drawing of why this is so important. So let's say this is your shaft, looking at it from the side. It tapers down like this here. And then it ends up at the end here with all the threads. So your groove, when they cut the groove, it goes from very little to this square part that you see on the groove. So I don't know if you get that. So when they cut that groove, it tapers off like this here. So when you put the shaft in, you just want to make sure that the two tapers are going to meet right here. Because if it don't, it's going to act as a wedge and in the wrong way, and it's going to cause tremendous pressure on the hub. So if this was your keyway, it would be going right here, just like that. So the right sequence to putting this in, you put the hub on first. I already cleaned everything with brake cleaner. And you line up the notch right here, the keyway. Okay, now I get that in. So now I can tighten this up, and it's gonna put everything exactly where it's supposed to be. The pin, everything will line up. I just have to tighten up the nut now, and you tighten it to 150 foot-pounds. So that's the minimum. That's the minimum amount of torque that you want to put on this nut. But as you put the nut on, these have slots for a cotter pin that goes through here, through these slots. So let's say you tighten it up and the groove don't line up with the hole. Let's say you hit 150 foot-pounds at this position right here. So what you want to do is continue to tighten it till it gets to that next notch, and that's going to be fine. You don't want to loosen it because that's going to leave too much flex in this. So you want to, so you have a range of a minimum of 150 foot-pounds, and you could go actually all the way up to 200 if you needed to. One thing you should do before you put this nut on is, this is the hole here for the cotter pin. So what you want to do, once that nut is on, it's actually hard to see where that is. So I either take a screwdriver or a pen or a marker or something and just make a mark roughly where it is. Because if this hub turns, then you could lose your bearings or lose where this is. So making a little reference mark is always handy. Bet you can't guess what color we're thinking of painting the Jeep. All right, guys. Well, thanks for hanging out with me today. We got a lot done. I haven't done the brakes on the other side in the rear. So in the comments, if you have any questions, anything that you want to see that I didn't show, just let me know. And at the beginning of the next video, I'll kind of try to show the things that I missed. But, you know, when I do these videos, they're basically for entertainment. If you get any information out of it, that's great. But it's mainly for entertainment and following along with me on my journey to restore this vehicle. So if you're inexperienced at doing brakes, I really recommend either having a professional supervise you or actually doing the work. This is somewhere that you don't want to take any chances and, you know, and try to do them yourself if you don't have the confidence in doing them. What is a good idea is to have a mechanic work with you and help you with any of the questions that you might have. So this is just part of this whole journey for me, restoring this or doing my interpretation of a restoration. But I really appreciate you guys being here. And next week, we're going to work on the front brakes and show anything that you wanted to see on the rear brakes. But I really appreciate you guys being here, and I will see you next time.